November 1913. Notre Dame's landmark 35-13 victory over Army in West Point, New York, was the longest road trip the school's football team had ever taken in its brief 26-year history. However, in 1913, it was just the first of 3 long road trips to end the historic undefeated season.
When you look at November 1913, it's really an amazing stretch of games for Notre Dame, and one that really sets the pattern that would continue up until the present time of traveling great distances and meeting a variety of opponents.
4 days after returning from the Army victory in New York, the team boarded the train again and headed to State College, Pennsylvania to face Penn State.
Although wearied by the long trip to West Point, the grueling Army game, the homecoming, and the almost immediate return to the East, the varsity played a good brand of football at State College Friday, November the 7th, and succeeded in beating Penn State by a 14-0 score. The victory is particularly pleasing because it is the first that has ever been scored on Penn State on its home field since they began playing football there 19 years ago.
After handing Penn State its first home loss ever, the Notre Dame team set its sights on the Southwest, becoming the first school above the Mason-Dixon line to play the University of Texas.
Early yesterday morning, Coach Harper and his band of champions left on their last incursion of the year. They play Christian Brothers College, St. Louis, this afternoon, and will leave tomorrow morning for Austin, Texas. Austin is 1,500 miles from Notre Dame, and this is probably the longest trip ever taken by a gold and blue team to play football.
Season-ending trip, again, very long trip, many hours on trains to ultimately make it to Austin, Texas. But the first game in that 2-game trip, Thanksgiving week, was on the Saturday before Thanksgiving against Christian Brothers College in St. Louis.
Saving his men for the Texas struggle, Coach Harper played a number of the reserves against the Christian Brothers College and was satisfied with beating the St. Louis aggregation 20-7 last Saturday. The varsity will arrive in Austin Monday evening and will stay at St. Edward's College, a branch institution of Notre Dame. Thus, they will have plenty of time to recuperate from their wearisome ride. The difficulty that the Texas water might not agree with our men has been overcome by sending water down from here.
Then on a Thanksgiving day, a warm Thanksgiving day in Austin, Texas, they just destroy the Longhorns and cap an undefeated season.
The 29-7 triumph over Texas was the last game in a Notre Dame uniform for All-American quarterback Gus DeRay and legendary end Newt Rockne.
It was the greatest game ever seen in Texas. It is seldom that a Thanksgiving game is played between 2 teams, both of which have gone through the season without defeat. But such were the conditions last Thursday. Notre Dame went into the enemy's camp with a clean slate and more than equal claim to the championship of the West. Texas had not lost a game and were undisputed champions of the Southwest. No other 11 ever before played to such a crowd in the Southwest. The game was the last for Gus DeRay and Captain Rockne. DeRay, in his farewell to football, played the best game of his life, throwing his passes far and accurately, even though the ball was wet, returning punts in a way never seen before in the South. Drop-kicking the slippery oval with telling accuracy, and generaling his team without an error.
The game against Texas was the first against any school that could be considered Southern, and highly unusual. I mean, very few schools made anything resembling that type of intersectional trip to play a football game.
When one says Southern, the word hospitality follows as inevitably as Longhorn follows mention of the word Texas. Or as we might say, were we not too modest, as victory follows Notre Dame. But we really didn't know what hospitality was until our 11 came home to tell us of the royal treatment received at the hands of the Southerners. Not only the Texas football squad, not only the university students, but the entire population of the town made an effort to make the boys of Notre Dame feel at home. They succeeded. Texas, we appreciate your kindness and we admire your fighting spirit. We would like to renew our acquaintance.
Here come the Irish!
100 years later, Notre Dame did renew that acquaintance, making Texas its home away from home and defeating Arizona State in the 2013 Shamrock Series game. A fitting tribute to that 1913 team, which forged the path of Notre Dame's national schedule for the next century and beyond.